What's going on, guys? So I've had a little bit of time with this one now, and while I wasn't necessarily underwhelmed upon first impression, it wasn't as good as I was expecting and hoping it to be. It has grown on me since I've spent some time with it. So I want to go a little bit deeper with it and talk to you guys about my thoughts and feelings on Versace Eros Parfum. Stay tuned. Before we jump into the review, I'd like to thank PerfumeOnline.ca for sending this fragrance my way, so I was able to spend some time with it and talk to you guys about it. Those of you not familiar with PerfumeOnline.ca, they're Canada's #1 online discounter. They have a lot of options, from cheap Middle Eastern fragrances, cheap designers, affordable designers, hard to find stuff, discontinued, vintage, niche. They've got a little bit of everything for everyone with extremely competitive prices. Make sure to check them out in the link below. Again, that's where this tester of Versace Eros Parfum came from. Let's talk about this fragrance. So it's a basic brown tester box, so we won't even bother looking at that. But here on the front, the only real difference is it says Versace Eros Parfum. Same exact bottle. As you can see, says tester on the sides. You have some fragrance information, batch code and everything on the bottom, nothing on the back. Same cap with the Medusa head on the top, which I don't know if it'll focus. There we go. And then the same atomizer. Let's talk about this scent. So the thing that surprised me the most about this one is when you first spray it, it opens up a little cheaper smelling than I anticipated. That smooth, round fullness doesn't start to come in until you give it a minute or two. That's when it starts to become more of what I thought it would be initially, my actual original hope for Eros Parfum. Because I had heard from a few opinions that I value, one specifically, that this is the more refined, smooth, more adult, matured take on the Eros DNA, which, as time has progressed, I have found it to be. Shout outs to Joy Amin. That is the valued opinion that I am referencing that made me desire to get this one more. Because I'm a big fan of the Eau de Parfum. While I still think the Eau de Parfum is the definitive version of this scent profile, it is very rounded and minty at the top. You will get that mintiness. And as it starts to settle, it becomes all about apple and amber. You get the tonka bean from start to finish. It's going to give you that vanilla smell. And it's a little bit more creamy than it is powdery. Because tonka bean can sometimes come across as powdery. It's definitely apple, amber, and a little bit of this vanilla. You're going to get the mintiness at the top, but it does start to fade. Like I said, it's warm amber and it's apple most of the way through. It does have a little bit of an ambroxan smell, though it's not listed. I do get a bit of that amberwood, ambroxan type of, more amberwood. Like, I'm surprised there's no amberwood in here. I want to say there is amberwood in the Eau de Parfum, and I definitely smell it here. It has that warm, woody smell. I know there's supposedly a synthetic amber note, but the main takeaway from this one is it is indeed a smoother, fuller, and more refined take on the scent profile. It just takes a minute to get there. The opening is still, a little screechy, scratchy Eros type of thing. But overall, the wearing experience is a beautiful scent bubble. I gotta say, just getting random whiffs of this fragrance, which is consistent for many hours, is quite lovely. It's a much warmer take, is the most simplistic way to put it. A much warmer, fuller smell and take on the original Eros DNA from the Eau de Toilette. Like I said, though very good, I still rank it second among the flankers, and I think the Eau de Parfum is still just a little bit better. Now, performance, that's where this one definitely shines, which the other ones are pretty good at as well. This one I easily got in the 10-hour range, so I can safely say 8 to 10 hours is a solid spot. Some probably get more than that. Longevity's not an issue. I never thought it would be. Projection, though, not as immensely loud and bright as the Eau de Toilette and the Eau de Parfum. The Eau de Parfum is probably the most well-rounded in scent as well as performance, because you get the longevity mixed with some really good projection, whereas here, the projection isn't on the weaker side, but compared to the other two versions, the other two concentrations, it's the weakest of the three. I would say it's an average projection. It's not super loud. It's arm's reach, maybe a little better type of stuff, but where this one outshines the others is the strength of the sillage. When that projection calms down and it starts to sit close to the skin, and you have the type of scent bubble that you're going to have through the majority of this fragrance's life. It's definitely on the moderate side, which moderate when it comes to sillage is on the stronger side for me. Moderate to mild is kind of typical where you'll get light whiffs. Here it's a bit more moderate where I do get pretty strong whiffs of it throughout. It's not an immensely strong cloud that just once I walk in a room, the whole room's going to smell like me even a few minutes after I leave it. It's not quite that strong, but it does have enough to make an impact on people when you walk by, when you come into the space, when you're having a conversation. It does have a nice, strong, moderate sillage that's very consistent. So that is probably the beauty of the performance on this one, is it's so consistently strong without being overwhelmingly strong. Final thoughts on Eros Parfum. So it did ended up being better than my initial impression of it. When I did my initial impression, I even said I have a feeling this one's going to grow on me more and this rating will change, which I gave it a 6.5, better than good at the time, and that rating has changed. It has increased. It is better than that. You have to spend time with these fragrances. You can't just solely judge everything on a first impression. And for me, I think this is very good. I don't think it's quite as good as the EDP, but it's not a big knock in the rating. This one's very good at a 7.5 out of 10. I dig it. If you like Eros and you want the warmer, smoother version, this is indeed that. This is, for the most part, what I expected. Especially once I spent time with it, it really kind of satisfied what I was looking for it to do. I will continue to wear this one. Maybe not as much as the EDP. Time will tell. Now that I have both, when I'm in the mood for Eros, which one am I going to reach for more? Maybe this time of year, since it is so much warmer, this is probably still going to be my go-to. I think this is the better winter weather Eros for sure. Whereas the EDP is still fine, but the warmth of this amber wood type of accord that I get probably suits it a bit better for this season. Thank you once again to perfumeonline.ca for sending this my way so I was able to get a review out and get my thoughts on it for you guys. I'm actually quite happy to have this. I was very excited to get it. I was a little let down with the opening on my first impressions, and as time has progressed, I've just been enjoying it more and more through full wearings, test sprays, and so on. And I'll continue to rock this one through the winter for sure. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. How many of you have tried this? What do you think? Similar assessment? Different assessment. Do you love it? Do you loathe it? I'm curious to see what you guys think. Or has this kind of turned you off or turned you on with maybe getting a sample and trying it? If you want to get it for a tester for a good price, I'll have a link down below where this came from Perfume Online. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on Eros Parfum and you give it a spray now, I don't know, you might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.